This ornament was made without a ring, so I'm going to explain to you how you can make it without a ring. It's just not as sturdy and stiff, but it still works just as fine. And this one is all in one color, so, and with a little charm. And then this one is with the two colors, and then with the added little trim right here, which I'm going to show you this as well. And you don't have to add this on if you don't want to. You can just have it with the two rounds, this one and this one. So I will show you those two different ways, and then I'll show you the way how you can make it without a plastic ring. To begin, we just need some little charm. If you want to add a charm to your little ornament, I'm going to be using these cute little angels. And then you need a 2-inch ring, or any size, whatever you prefer. I am using a 2-inch. Some dental floss, or some fishing line, or any type of wire or a fine needle, anything that you can use, that you use to get your yarn through your charms. I like to use dental floss. And then I'm using 2 colors of yarn. You can use 1 or 2. I'm using 2, Christmas color and then a white. And then a size 4.00 millimeter crochet hook. To do it without a plastic ring, you're going to pull your tail of the main color that you're going to use, and you want to have about a 12.5 inches of a tail, and then you're going to make your slip knot at the end of, or at the beginning of that 12.5 inches there. So then you have a nice long tail. And what we're going to do is an I-cord chain of 20. So this is our long tail that we have, and this is our working yarn from the skein. So we're going to take that tail, wrap it around our crochet hook like this, yarn over with the working yarn, and pull it through. And that's 1. And we're going to do this for a total of 20. So that's 2. This is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and continue to do that until you have 20, and I'll see you back. I just completed my 20 stitches with the I-cord. Now I'm going to take out my crochet hook by pulling up a loop so I don't lose that last stitch. And then what I want to do is insert my crochet hook into that first stitch that we did with the I-cord through both loops like this. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab that loop that I had taken off of my hook, and then pull that working yarn so it's not that big of a loop anymore, and then pull that loop through that stitch like so. And that just joined it to create that ring. And now you can cut this tail off, or you can leave it, whatever you prefer, and work around it for extra security, but it's already been crocheted into that I-cord, so I like to usually snip it. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and show you the next step. So now what we want to do is chain 1, and we're going to do a puff stitch, a small puff stitch around this ring. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into the center of that ring, yarn over, bring that yarn through the center and up. You have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over again, insert your hook into the center of that ring, yarn over, bring that yarn through that center of the ring and up, and now you have 5 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and go through all 5 loops, and that's your small little puff stitch. And we're going to do that again. Yarn over, insert your hook into that ring, yarn over, bring that yarn through that ring and up. You have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, insert your hook into that ring again, yarn over, bring that yarn through and up. You have 5 loops on your hook, yarn over, and go through all 5 loops, and that's your second puff stitch. So you want to continue to work puff stitches all the way around this ring until it's completely covered, and you want to make sure you end with an even number of puff stitches. And I will see you guys back at the end of this round. And I'm just going to zoom in real quick and do one more puff stitch with you guys together. So we're yarning over, inserting our hook into that ring, yarning over, bringing that yarn through the ring and up. You have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over again, insert that hook into that ring again, yarn over, bring that yarn through and up. You have 5 loops on your hook, yarn over, and go through all 5 loops, and that's your puff stitch. So continue to work a puff stitch around that chain, that ring, until you get to the beginning right here, and make sure you have an even number of puff stitches, and I'll see you back at the end. Now if you're working with a plastic ring, you're going to start with a slip knot on your crochet hook, and then what you want to do is join with a slip stitch to that plastic ring. So you're going to insert your crochet hook into the center of that ring, yarn over, bring that yarn through the center and through the loop that's on your crochet hook, like that, and then chain 1. And now I like to work over my tail, so I just push my tail over here, and then we're going to work a small puff stitch around that ring. So again, we're going to yarn over like we did in the previous section, bring that through the ring and up. You have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, go in the center of the ring, yarn over, bring that through the center and up. You now have 5 loops on your hook, yarn over, and go through all 5 loops, and that's your first small puff stitch. And again, yarn over, insert your hook into the center of that ring, yarn over, bring that yarn through the center of the ring and up. You have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over again, insert your hook into the center of that ring, yarn over, bring that yarn through the center of the ring and up. You have 5 loops on your hook, yarn over, and go through all 5 loops, and that's 2 puff stitches. Yarn over, insert your hook into the center of that ring, yarn over, bring that through the center of the ring and up. You have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, insert your hook into the center of the ring, yarn over, bring that yarn through the center of the ring and up. You have 5 loops on your hook, yarn over, and go through all 5 loops, and that's your puff stitch. And go ahead and continue to make puff stitch around the ring until you get to the end, and make sure you cover the entire ring, and make sure you end with an even number of puff stitches, and I'll see you back at the end. I just finished working all of my puff stitches around the ring. I did a total of 36, and now what I want to do is join from the back with a slip stitch to the first one. So I'm going to pull that loop up a little bit so I don't lose that last stitch, and then I'm going to insert my crochet hook from the back to the front of the first puff stitch, and then I'm just going to turn it around and then reinsert that crochet hook into that loop, pull that working yarn a little bit so the loop's not so big, and then I'm going to pull that loop through that stitch. So now I just joined to the back, and now I want to make my hanging loop, so I'm going to chain 15. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. And then I'm going to join with a slip stitch right here to the base of where I just came out of. So you can either do it to the first one or just right to the base. And I'm just joining with a slip stitch. And of course you can chain however many you want. And then I'm going to go ahead and fasten off because I'm changing to a different color. So I just fastened that off and I'm going to pull that through. And then of course weave that in later. And then this is the front. And there's our cute little first round. And this is where we joined. And now I'm going to take my contrasting color, which I'm going to use just this plain simple white because this one's already got some sparkle to it. So I'm going to go ahead and do a slip knot on my crochet hook. And then I want to join with a slip stitch. And where we're going to join is just where we had fastened off. So right here, we're going to insert our crochet hook and join with a slip stitch. So yarn over, bring it through that stitch and through the loop on your hook, just like that. And then we're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to skip the next stitch and slip stitch into the next one. And then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to skip the next stitch and slip stitch into the next one. And we're going to continue to do that all the way around. So we're going to chain 3, skip a stitch, and then slip stitch into the next one. And we're going to do that all the way around, and I'll see you guys back at the end. This is the ending of the puff stitch, and this is the one where I did the I-cord chain of 20, and this is where we want to join. So we're just going to go ahead and pull that loop up a little bit, and we're going to insert our crochet hook from the back to the front, turn it around, and then grab that loop and pull that loop to the stitch. And now what we're going to do is chain 15 or however many you want, and this is our hanging loop. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. And then you just want to join to the base that you just came out of with a slip stitch for your hanging loop. And then if you wanted to change color, this is where you would fasten off like we did in the previous video. If not, then I would turn your work, and then you can see that this is the front, so I would pull that loop up a little bit, turn your work to the front, insert your hook back into that first stitch that you went and slip stitched in, pull that loop through if you're not changing colors, and then chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, skip the next stitch, slip stitch into the next one, chain 3, skip the next stitch, slip stitch into the next one, and then continue to do that all the way around. 1, 2, 3, skip the next stitch, slip stitch into the next one, and I'll see you back when you're done doing that all the way around. I'm at the end of doing my last chain 3, and this is the I-cord chain that we started with. And now what I want to do is just join. I did my last chain 3, and we're going to join to the base of the first one. Just go ahead and fasten off and pull that through. And then of course weave in your ends. And this one, if you're not doing a charm on this one and you just want to do that extra little trim that I had suggested before, and I'm trying to see where that cute little thing is, where we did here, this is how you would do that. You would take your contrasting color and start with a slip knot, and then this is where I added that. Just insert your crochet hook into that same joining stitch, and then from behind grab that slip knot that you created on that contrasting yarn and pull that yarn through like so. Not completely through, you just want to pull the slip knot through, and then go ahead, insert your hook into that space, that stitch that you skipped when you did your chain 3 loop, and then grab that yarn from behind and pull it through and do a slip stitch. And now you're going to go into the next stitch that you did your slip stitch into from the previous round. Insert your hook, grab that yarn from behind, pull that yarn through and do a slip stitch, and then go into the next stitch that you had skipped in the previous round. Grab that yarn from behind, pull it through and work a slip stitch. Go on to the stitch that you had worked a slip stitch into in the previous round. Yarn over from behind and bring it through and work a slip stitch. And you're just going to continue to do this all the way around until you get to the end, and it makes this cute little trim. And I will see you guys back when you get to the end. Okay, we are at the end of our plastic ring. I did my chain 3 loop, and now what we want to do is join with a slip stitch to that base of the first slip stitch that we did. And this one is another option. You can join from the back. It kind of hides that joining stitch. It's like an invisible join. So what you do is you just pull up that loop so you don't lose that stitch. And then you go ahead and insert your crochet hook from behind to the front. Turn your work. Grab that loop that you took off your hook and put it back on, and then just pull it through like that, and then take that yarn that you fastened off. Make sure you leave a long enough tail because we want to add our charm. And then after we have completed and joined, we're going to thread our long tail with our yarn needle and then turn it over. And we're going to go ahead and take that tail and thread it down to the middle of the circle, like right here, so our charm can hang down, which is right there. I think is good for me. And then I'm going to take my dental floss that I had cut, and I'm going to put my dental floss, my yarn into my dental floss like that, and then connect the two ends as close as I can like that. And then take my charm, zoom in so you guys can see better and I can see better. And let's see, get that a little closer. And then wet that off camera, of course. And then I'm going to thread that through until the yarn gets in there, like so. And then I can just take that dental floss out and continue to pull that yarn. There we go. And then I'm going to take my yarn needle and re-thread it. My charm is on there, so that's good. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom out. And this is the front. So there's my charm. I'm just gonna push that charm so it's hanging there in the center where I want it to be. So I'm happy with it there. So now once it's there, I'm gonna zoom in. I'm gonna do a little knot right around one of these loops, and that's just to keep it there in place. And of course you guys can do it however you want. This is just how I do it. If you have a better way of doing it, that's great. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do it like this. Then I'm gonna make my little knot. And then I'm gonna weave this in. And of course it's boring to do it on camera, so I won't bore you guys, but I'll just weave it in real quick, just once, so you guys can see it in the front after it's done. And let's zoom out. And there is my little ornament with my hanging angel charm for the tree. Hope you guys enjoyed and liked it. And there's that one, and then I'll show you the other one. Thanks for watching. I'm at the end doing my slip stitching all the way around, and now I'm just going to go ahead and fasten this off. If you wanted to, you could leave a long tail to attach a charm. This one I'm not attaching a charm, just to show you the difference. So now I'm just pulling this all the way through. And then I'm going to take my yarn needle and thread that yarn needle. And then we're just going to take this and go through to the back like that. And then we're going to weave in our ends in the back. And that is it. And there's our other cute little ornament. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching.